Listen, if you are a 3D artist or work in creative fields and you're still not using Claude Code or Codex to organize your workflows, you are significantly missing out. It is a big delusion that all the CLI such as Claude Code are only for coders or for those who work with text, context, etc. I bet ChatGPT or Gemini is in your daily workflow anyway, but you still do a lot of things manually, such as generating prompt with ChatGPT, bringing that prompt to Banana, and so forth. In this video, I'm gonna reveal my own setup in Claude Code, how I use it to address creative tasks, how much time I save, how much token I spend on that. Spoiler, it's not that expensive. And I hope to inspire you enough with this video so you get started building your own agent and keep up the pace. Cause it's crazy, I got you, but trust me, you're gonna like it. Kindly hit that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys. Now, first of all, who am I? I'm Steph, 10 years of 3D engineering, started as a 3D generalist and technical artist, almost 5,000 commercial projects. I was CEO of 3D agency, and now your humble content creator. Now, I cannot imagine my life right now without Claude Agent that I started to build early this year. I'm gonna reveal my whole setup, show how I use it, but first, why in the first place you have to do that? Well, if you take a look around, this is where all things are going. Almost every major software starting or already built their own MCP so you can access it with the agent. 1 month ago, Blender official MCP. Just a week ago, Unreal Engine 5.8 with native MCP. Before that, of course, software like Figma already has its MCP for a long time. Not to say about any API providers, chats and stuff. And it's escalating even further with autonomous agents such as OpenClaw and Hermes, to which one I potentially will migrate my setup as well. Now, this might sound complicated, but it's not, trust me, and it will help you a lot. Now to my setup. And my setup is actually a simple folder called Mr. Mark. That cute little guy. This is, by the way, Mr. Mark. He's my assistant and manager. It's actually an interesting approach to give your agents real identities. Now, what is this folder? Well, that is sort of a website and a lot of folders with that MD and instruction to my agent. So first of all, I can actually run it locally, which will basically just run a website, the front end, so I can see every information in nice way. So let's just run it. And here we go. So this is how it looks like. It's very simple. It's not a Jarvis, and I was not really trying to make a Jarvis. I was trying to make a system that will work for me. So let me break down what's happening here and how I actually use it. So first of all, you can see that I'm using Cursor, but you can use VS Code. You can even use Claude Code Desktop or Codex or CLI with Codex. That's pretty much totally fine. Maybe even Gemini. But to be honest, do not know anything about Gemini setup like that. It's mostly either Codex or Claude Code, but feel free to choose any other IDE, that's totally fine. Now, how did I build that and how do I actually talk to an agent here? Well, see, the folder is already the instruction. There are files like Claude, settings, some skills, and there are also folders like knowledge and stuff. So basically, when I just started to build my agent, I just opened this empty folder and I launched the Claude Code inside this folder, which I'm gonna do actually right now. Here we go, and if I start to chat with this guy right now, it will automatically take the context of this folder. Can you tell me who you are and what's your duty? And here's the answer. Mr. Mark, an agent, a distinguished gentleman piglet. Is the most one I like. I think you can see what it actually does, right? There is an inbox folder where I can drop some files and later I can just like drag and drop them to the chat like this, or just refer like there's something there to manage. Now a little bit how I build that. Well, when I actually opened the chat, when it was empty folder and started to asking it to build me an agent that will keep my processes, my knowledge about me. Here you can see the MD that describes my process. It was not instant. Each process I had to do a few iterations to make sure it understands what output I expect, what is my approach to that problem, and what I actually do is like creating characters, creating environments, brainstorming videos, researching for the videos a lot. That's what basically happening here. And there's also some knowledge that I accumulate. Of course, this folder is perfectly designed to be placed on Git. Claude Code will help you to set up Git if it's not, and then you can drop it on a private repository to keep it there. And about the frontend, instead of working with markdown files like this, which is potentially also fine, someone actually like that, I'm more visual person. I want to see some images, some tabs, to see the process, go through it. So I asked my Mr. Mac to build up the frontend that I can run when I work with it. And essentially per each my request, it creates a card. It's either like image gen card or research card. That's pretty much two things that I mostly need. And this is how I work. So let me show you one real example. Actually, I show you a few examples. So let's say I open chat and I'm about to create a new video and I need a city, and then I need to extract plenty of assets for that city, go generate those assets, etc. I can go to ChatGPT, start creating prompts, then go take that prompts to some image generation, but that will take so much time. I have plenty to do. I'm crazy busy without that. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, Mr. Mark, so I'm about to create a video. There will be a location that will be assembling automatically in Unreal Engine together with MCP. And boom, here I have my thoughts and I'm gonna just press enter. Well, I just did that day ago and here is the result. Here you can see the results. This is pretty much how the result looks. And you can see that there are tabs and stuff, and I do not always explain to create it in that way. Actually, I explained that once in the knowledge and the processes, and it already knows that there will be iterations. And my process usually is to find, like, let's say I start another voice session and I say, okay, Mr. Max, so I think I like number 10 and I like number 12. So let's try to make something in the middle of number 10. And yeah, and the first one also very nice. And then it creates me the next iteration, right? The concepts V2. Boom. Okay, and I say, no, that's not what I like, or we can step back and do something else. And then we like doing one more iteration. You also can see that I do Nano Banana Pro and ChatGPT Image 2. So that's also my preference, and it does know that if I request one prompt, it will generate me two, so I can compare, and the results quite different. And here's the final iteration, and I finally got this one. And this one I actually used for one of my video on my channel where I did Unreal Engine 5.8 MCP. But this image is not enough, and then I ask it, okay, Mr. Mark, let's extract around 50 unique parts on white background and stuff, and basically creating asset kit. And here you go. This, what you see here, was created in one prompt. Like, well, basically just what I told him to do. I said, okay, white backgrounds, I need some bridges, piers. I was not really detailed. I just said, like, I need some objects to build up this location to generate 3D stuff. And here's the results. This is pretty amazing. And then I can actually grab them all from one folder, right? So I can open that folder in Explorer and you can see all these images. Like, you just take them, copy, or you can even send it through MCP somewhere, or you can ask it to generate 3D models right away, because I do have access to Fal.ai here. And if you just wondered how my agent actually generated with Nano Banana Pro and GPT image, actually it has access to way more models like a Dream 4 and everything that Fal.ai provides. This is because I have Fal.ai API key that I put it into my environment variables, and of course I gave my Mr. Mark knowledge about how to use Fal.ai. And that's extremely simple, really. You can just say like Fal.ai, here's the key, and I need that and that model. Basically, I can take any model from Fal.ai, let's say Nano Banana Pro 2. I can copy this link and say, okay, I need you to use this one. It will figure out all the API and stuff, how to get the images, etc. to generate the 60 images. It took me around 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, and I extracted all these images. How sick is that? And here another project. This one is more complicated. This video is not yet live, so I'm not going to reveal you the final concept that I made. But basically, you can see that the process here actually goes the same way, right? We go one by one, boom, 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 boom. Then I provide some feedback. Also, there is some research. I mean, as a YouTuber, I have to see what people are actually looking for, analyze some other videos. For example, in my setup, I also have YouTube Analytics. I do have API that can parse X. I found found some skills for my Claude Code that can break down and transcribe any video, like actually watch it to see like the keyframes, etc. So it's not just getting title, description, and the comments, but the actual content. And my researches became way much better. I even tried to do some edits with AI, not like YouTube edits, but like cut some time lapse, like remove some parts when I show my screen which don't want to show, and then it just made like really nice frames and stuff. So you can see in my inbox there's a video inbox because I gave it a skill called FFmpg, which worked really well. And when I plugged Fable.ai when it was available, everything was just working even better. Here's another example how I was doing like the Hollow Knight. I showed this, I think, in one of my videos. You can see I do iteration, I don't like something, and I like, okay, maybe try this, take 6 Nano Banana Pro, do the edit iteration, etc, etc, etc. If you follow my channel, you might remember this video. Now let me reveal how much that cost. So I actually used $20 Claude subscription before, and that was 100% not enough if you use a Claude Code. But then I started to use either $100 or $200 recently because I work with my team. But $100 Claude Code subscription is actually the best choice, I think, and it will be really difficult to reach the limits for tasks like this. I'm running 2, 3, 4 big research together with image generation and stuff, and I never hit the limit on $100 subscription. That's relevant to Codex as well, but $20 will definitely not be enough. However, there are additional spends such as Fal.ai. So let me show you my actual spending per month. So we're gonna go here. You can see there is some budget, and my usage this month is only $68. But note, I do a lot of image generation, like a lot. Look, this one was generated with same API key and pretty much all the images that you can see here. And this is because essentially you don't need that much assets. Again, if you're creating images as crazy, maybe it makes sense to find some other options like Krea with some unlimited access to Krea models if you generate a lot of images. But in my case, here you can see my spendings, and I create a lot of YouTube content really. API usage on demand, but there is no cheat code like you always have to pay. However, exception might be the open router that you can also plug into Hermes or again locally that can give you access to some free models like LLMs and image generation for free, but there are different limitations. And of course, one more thing I want to emphasize is that I do not really type when I can actually just talk to my agent. And I use Whisper and it works pretty fine for me. You can intertext any chat. It can also be saved if you need to circle back. You can see here. And in my case, I even use it for free because my friend actually created the local version that runs on 3 GB of VRAM, and you don't even have to pay $10 Whisper subscription. It works identical because the model behind it is open source. I really encourage to switch to this new interface of voice input. You cannot imagine how much more efficiency you can get. And you might say, that's cool, but what if I'm a technical artist and I don't really care about this concept and stuff? That might be true, but there are great things such as Blender MCP, which I mentioned, and Unreal Engine MCP. And if you're a technical artist, modeler, even if you do UV or red topology, I don't care, you can use that. Together with Blender MCP, you can start testing it with simple tasks such as clean up my scene, give it all like reasonable names, etc. Starting to create some simple scripts to automate daily routine. You can start trying to build up some simple scripts and plugins. That is absolutely must have. And imagine it can access your Blender, put the script there, make sure the script work, and just tell you like, okay, yeah, you can now run the script, or I created the add-on and you can actually run it. That is absolutely amazing. I'm a technical artist myself, and 1 month ago I actually used it for a commercial project to do the geometry nodes and solve one very difficult task. And Claude Code actually helped me to figure out geometry node setup, adjust it, fix it, and make it better so it actually works. I was absolutely surprised how good is that. And for those who use Codex, I actually have great news for you. Codex seems to have better vision, and it pretty much understands better any screenshots and stuff and the positioning. So in that case, Claude Code losing a bit, but if Fable.ai actually will be back, then Claude actually winning it. But who knows? Again, this thing's getting better and better every day, and I want you to start thinking about it, start building your own agent. Start simple, create knowledge about yourself, what you're doing, what projects you do, keep it all private in your repository. Then start explaining your processes and try to automate it with agent. You'll be surprised how far you can get with it. Almost for every task, there is a skill or MCP or solution right now, even for video editing, for 3D and stuff. Without this setup, instead of 3-4 videos per week, I might only be able to do 1 or 2 videos because that's extremely time consuming. Recording, brainstorming characters that you're gonna like, guys, and so forth. And recent Unreal Engine MCP is also really cool stuff. Imagine your agent has access to everything at once, and you can say like, okay, go to Blender, bake that texture, and then extract that ambient occlusion texture and add that texture to Unreal Engine, that material. That's actually possible right now. I was doing like a lot of tests like baking in Blender, that works, and together with this MCP setup in Unreal Engine, you can bring textures or objects in Unreal Engine, position them, build up the shaders and many things. Well, at this point, I guess that's it. My further plan is to move my setup to Hermes and test it out. I'm pretty happy how it works right now, but I'm excited with the thought that I can actually access it from phone and from desktop. And if I'm outside and some great idea hit my mind, I can just tell the same agent like, okay, start researching or like generate me some images. And then I come back to PC and I see everything the same. Gonna try to do that setup and probably gonna make that video later. Let me know in the comments if you want something like that. That was Steph. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video.